With SmackDown only 2 weeks away from Money in the Bank, let's see who is getting all the momentum. And did Cory Graves accidentally announce something he shouldn't have? Let's find out in Smack Talk's SmackDown review. I'm your host, Boise, and here we go. So we started off the show with Carmella doing an unmasking of Asuka. This was actually a really good montage of Asuka's, undefeated streak, then getting defeated by Charlotte, then losing on her first night on SmackDown Live. For me, this is a good basic way of building up the rivalry between Carmella and Asuka. Asuka came out, didn't say anything, which was quite good. Asuka just stared her down. Carmella had a really good heel promo, which worked really well for her character. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville also came out and said they're going to take on Asuka. Paige came out saying, look, once again, no one speaks for me. Asuka, you've got the decision. Who do you want to take on tonight? And Asuka pointed at both, took the mic off Carmella and went both of them. And that's quite cool. It is a good lead up to the first match of the night. And again, it works well in both the Asuka and Carmella rivalry, which I'm really, to be honest, it's one of the matches I'm actually looking forward to see how they actually build up. Carmella's getting better and better on the mic, which does help. And Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are good opponents to be for Asuka to build momentum. So for me, this opening segment altogether was all good. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, mainly because it's big improvements for both Carmella and and for Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, because it was good promo work altogether for those three. This moves us on to the first match of the night, which was the handicap match, where we saw Asuka taking on both Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And to be honest, this is exactly what you want to do, since Asuka's undefeated streak has been broken and now everyone's going, is she as strong as what we expect anymore? And to be honest, this was great. Mandy and Sonya did have a few times have the advantage, which you do expect from a handicap match. But because Asuka was built up so brilliantly, she dominated the match a lot more than the two combined. The only time really Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose had a real, advantage is when Carmella even got involved. Distracting Asuka allowed Sonya to take advantage of that. But of course, that didn't last. Asuka took out both women and put Sonya Deville in the Asuka lock. This was great. Afterwards, while Asuka was celebrating, of course Carmella comes out holding up the title once again. Mandy Rose isn't happy. She tries to smack Asuka in the head. Asuka takes her out, but Carmella knocks her out with the belt and super kicks her in the face, starting celebrating in the ring. For me, this is a classic heel move, and it was a good enough match. Something we don't see too often is handicap matches anymore. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 because the match is again something we don't see too often, and Carmella's heel tactics worked really well as well. So for me, it was a good start to the show. Our next match was a one-on-one match where we saw Harper versus Karl Anderson, and this was again well booked from the writing team. Pretty much Harper was in control, I would say 90% of the match. He really didn't allow Karl Anderson to get any momentum in it. Luke Harper was, he's a dominant man. He's a big, scary guy in the ring. Rolling on the side of the ring was even more intimidating. And Luke Gallows, cheering on his tag team partner, Anderson. For me, it was well put together. And with Karl Anderson getting the surprise pin, he reversed Harper. Harper lost a bit, just for 2 seconds, lost a bit of momentum. Karl Anderson holds him back, gets the pinfall. Harper and Rollin are shocked. It was a quick match, very quick in my opinion, but it did what it needed to do, give that surprise win for Karl Anderson. Gives a bit of momentum for the team as well, and it shows that Luke Harper and Eric Rowan can lose as well. And I think it's the first time we've seen the Bludgeon Brothers in the ring for some time. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. Again, nothing really special, but it was a good storytelling type of match. Next match we did get was a mixed match, which was Naomi and her husband Jimmy Uso taking on Lana and Aiden English. And for me, this could easily be the match of the night. It was high flying moves by Uso and Naomi, which was great. Lana pulled off some good moves as well, not too many, but she did look good in the ring, a lot more confident in the ring, which is what you want to see. She's definitely the weakest one going into the Money in the Bank match in 2 weeks' time. And Aiden English did the most in the match for that team. But yeah, I'm definitely was enjoying every single bit. There was a lot of high flying moves, which you do expect from Naomi and Jimmy Uso. And because it's a match we don't again see too often in WWE, it just felt like there was a lot of WWE SmackDown was really trying new things tonight, and I think it worked a lot better than I think they expected. So for me, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Very strong match for Naomi and Jimmy to get the win. Well deserved, but improvements from Lana in the ring, and Aiden English is entertaining as hell. So very much a entertaining match. Next up, we got something again quite different than we usually get. We had the contract signing for AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Money in the Bank WWE title match. Now, the reason this was mostly different was because it usually we see in the ring and we get a brawl after the contract is signed. This time it was backstage. Paige had two officials with her to make sure nothing broke out as well, which again you don't often see. And just the back and forth work between AJ and Nakamura was fantastic. AJ signed the contract, cut a really good promo, and Nakamura just smiled, grinned and took it. And then Nakamura said, I tried to sign the contract, no ink, throws it, takes AJ's pen, looks at it, says broken, throws it at him. AJ gets absolutely annoyed, slaps him, he gets dragged away by the officials. Nakamura pulls a pen out from his out of his jacket, signs it, smiles and walks off. Very different, very cool way of doing a contract signing. Again, something we don't often see in WWE, but for me it was a really well backstage different kind of backstage segment, so I'm going to give this a good 5 out of 10. Next up, we did have the match which I thought should have been the main event match, where we saw Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Now for me this was a really good match, and it was entertaining as well. Both women gave it all, which you expect from the two biggest baby faces on SmackDown Live, who are best friends in storylines. And they still had time to show respect by doing their tea time thing, which was again a good thing for us fans. And the surprise thing, Becky Lynch got the win. That's right, Charlotte didn't win. When I heard the match was going to happen last week, I went, Charlotte's going to win. She's obviously the bigger name out of the two. But I'm actually glad with this twist. It's nice to see Becky get a big win like this over Charlotte. Don't get me wrong. And it was shown how good the match was, because the fans were up clapping after the match. And it was entertaining from start to finish. Both women were... the only downfall, the only thing I'm going to take away was I wish it had more time, because I think it would have been absolutely brilliant with an extra 5 to 10 minutes in the match. I think that would have lifted it up, but because it didn't have the time I was hoping it would, and it, like I said, it felt like it should have been a main event match for me, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Really good match. Some silly bits did take away from it, but altogether Becky getting the win and giving her a big momentum push for her, I really enjoyed it. So there we go. Next up, we had a promo with Big Cass and Renee Young. this time, again, something very different than WWE usually do. Usually when they do their promos, it's in the center of the ring. And this time round, it wasn't either backstage, it wasn't in the ring, it was out on the entranceway in the corner, which you don't often see WWE doing. And the promo was fine. I really feel for Big Cass when it comes to these type of promos. You can tell the writers just give him a promo, he reads it and he's like, ah. So it wasn't a good promo by Big Cass. It was better than what we usually get from him, but again, you can tell it's all written for him. For me, it was something you gotta enjoy it just for the visual way they actually filmed this shot, because you had Big Cass on the corner, like I said, but the cameramen were down on the bottom, so they were shooting up at certain angles, and it made Big Cass feel like a giant while he was doing this promo. Again, so WWE don't often do. The promo itself, like I said, nothing too special. So for me, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. But for visually, for me, as someone who loves photography and video taking, I'm gonna say this is a 7 out of 10 just for visual. So well done, WWE. This moves us on to our main event of the night, where we saw the New Day taking on the evil heel team of The Miz, Samoa Joe, and Rusev. It was a six-man tag team match, which was great. For me, entertaining from start to finish, a very strong match. Not, again, like I said, it didn't feel like it should have been a main event type of match, but I'm happy with how it went down. The New Day, and I've got to give Xavier Woods props for all the big moves he was pulling out. Again, Big E looking very strong. Kofi, energetic as usual. Samoa Joe, yes, a bit sluggish, but very dangerous when he was in the ring. Rusev entered. Big pot spot for both Rusev and Samoa Joe and The Miz. These three have got to be the three biggest heels in the company right now, and they are very much liked by the WWE Universe. Again, back and forth type of match, which was great. It looked like the heels were about to get the win. Miz controlling everyone. He was about to throw the pancakes in Big E's face. Kofi distracts him. He throws them. Big E gets out of the way, and it hits both Samoa Joe and Rusev, which made them turn on The Miz, which caused New Day to win the match. Apart from the silly bits during the match with the pancakes, the whole match was good for me, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I'm going to take some bits away from it, because it just felt a little bit like something was missing as well. But I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Entertaining from, when it was really good wrestling, it was really good. The pancake bits were funny as well, so nothing really to complain about. And there we go, guys, that was SmackDown Live for this week. And like I said at the start of this video, did Cory Graves make a mistake and release what's going to happen at Money in the Bank? I think he did. During the Lana and Naomi match, he accidentally announced that Bayley was going to be in the Money in the Bank suitcase match. Quickly, he did state that no, it's Natalya, she is injured, but obviously she might be able to still compete. But could Cory Graves have accidentally given off the surprise switch, which WWE were hoping to keep hush hush? We'll have to wait and see. But yes, SmackDown Live was really good this week. I was entertained from start to finish. I think the promos did exactly what they needed to do. The matches were building up momentum, and I think The Miz might win the Money in the Bank suitcase match, because he's the one who's lost the most matches going into it, and it just feels like he's the one who's definitely the one they're getting ready to push with this prop. So for me, it's absolutely been a fantastic episode. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because I can't really find too many faults in the show, and the promos and everything just worked this week. And there you go, guys, that was Smack Talk's SmackDown Live review. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe, press the notification button, and you can follow me at Twitter at Boise88, and you can follow the channel itself at Smack Talk YouTube. That's YouTube. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.